Hey guys, I'm back with another episode today. This episode we're going to be talking about the iPad, the iPhone 8, or the iPhone X, or iPhone Pro, whatever you want to call it. But it's not that. It's definitely not going to be called the iPhone 8. I guarantee that. So this is probably going to be the final video I do about the iPhone 8, except a review about it and a comparison. But this is the final video about it because if you've been living in the Rock, you probably don't know this, but the iPhone something is coming out September 12th, guaranteed. First given to us. It was leaked like weeks ago, but was first confirmed by MKBHD when he tweeted it out. Then Apple released it. They released it publicly. So September 12th, guaranteed. I think that's in 10 days of me uploading this video. So mark your calendars, 10 days. In this video, I'll be talking about the different colors, how powerful it's going to be, the many features, and of course the cost of the iPhone. So here we go. Let's start with how it's going to look like. I took some screenshots because I'm currently recording on iOS 11. I can't really show you in a video because Apple doesn't let you do that. If you don't believe me, here you go. Guaranteed. I'm recording on my iPad. Alright. So as you can see right here, I have Safari open. That's the Apple Store. I'm going to show you. That's the one we use. Talk about the pricing. So let's start with how it's going to look like. As you can see, this is a full-on diagram of the iPhone 8 and its exact features. Where it's going to be, look. Let's start from the top. 3D facial recognition sensor to unlock the phone and payments. So as some of you might know, the iPhone will not have a home button, meaning it might not have a touch ID. It's currently unknown yet, but I'm 90% sure that it will not have touch ID. So there's something else you have to do, because Apple Pay is the second most popular type of payment besides a credit card, unless you want to use cash. But Apple Pay is more popular than Android Pay because Android Pay is not really in a lot of phones. But Android Pay is the second, and of course Samsung is the third, because Samsung pays only on the latest phones, the Samsung phones, and this makes only 2% of Samsung phone sales, and their cheaper phones make up like 30%. So they're gonna do 3D facial, which is a lot better than iris scanning. A lot of people think it's gonna be iris scanning. It's not iris scanning. It's a lot more complicated and a lot better. It reads out your whole face 3D, and a lot of you can say, well, what about nighttime? So it's gonna use like heat sensors to map out your face. Even at nighttime, it's gonna be accurate, and it's gonna be. Someone would say it's gonna be 300% faster than Touch ID, and it's gonna come like 1/1000th of a second, so 1 millisecond. I think, yeah, that's 1 millisecond. As you can see, infrared sensors to allow in the dark facial recognition. Infrared sensors helps you detect in the dark. And of course, the smart camera, improved scene and object detection. So a lot of people complain about the front-facing camera. Apple always improves the rear camera dramatically from every different generation of iPhone. If you compare the iPhone 4 camera to the iPhone 5, huge improvement. From the iPhone 5 to the iPhone 6, huge improvement. From the iPhone 6 Plus to the 7, huge improvement. So of course we're gonna see, and the rear camera is rumored to be 4K at 60 frames per second on one of the cameras, and image stabilization on both sides. So Of course, they're gonna need to improve the front-facing camera. So a lot of people are saying it's gonna be like the rear 4K at 60 frames per second, but I highly doubt that. It's probably gonna be 9 to 12 megapixels because Apple's gonna record 4K for the front-facing camera, and it's gonna use smart detection to improve software on the camera and make it a lot better than this usually is. So let's go. Inductive charging. Okay, so of course, Apple is gonna have wireless charging. Let me see. Let me go wireless charging. Here it is. Here's the wireless charging pad right here by this guy. I don't know him, but here's something you need to know about wireless charging. Apple is gonna put a certain shape on the iPhone and the wireless charging. Like Apple's chargers, you cannot use this unless it's an iPhone, or iPhone cannot charge unless it has that chip. So Apple wants to make, of course, money on their charger. So here's what they're gonna do. Like the Lightning charger, real companies have to give Apple a certain amount of money to use the chargers, to be able to use the charger, patented charger. So it's gonna be the same thing. Okay then. The charger is going to cost between $99 and $149, and I think it's reasonable, especially for Apple. I mean, I won't be surprised if it costs $99. This thing will sell out because it's gonna be so high in demand. Apple has to increase the price. People think Apple increases the price because they want to make more money. No, they increase it so they have less demand. Because if they cost $49 as much as I think Samsung one does, it would sell out within days. They not want to do something like the AirPods. I believe the AirPods should have cost $200 because it still was way too high in demand. So that's what they're gonna do with the iPhone 8. They're gonna overprice it because it's gonna be so much in demand. So let's go back. So longer power button. I don't know what that is, but a lot of people say that they're gonna put a longer power button to improve one-handed use. Currently, you can barely use your on one hand for the iPhone 7. You definitely can't use on one hand for iPhone 7 Plus. So they're trying to improve that. Slimmer bezels. If you've seen the LG G6, it's gonna be smaller bezels because the LG G6 has 6mm bezels on the sides. The iPhone's gonna be 4mm, and the new LG V30 has 2mm bezels, and of course the Samsung has 0.5mm. So 2mm because it has the LG V30 has a slight edge, and this LG V30 is the LG V lineup is my favorite Android phone lineup of all time because LG always surprises us with new things. That's why I think Apple, maybe not next year, probably the year after that, they're gonna, on their displays, they're gonna have a slight edge like the LG V30 has to improve bezel. A lot of people say it's gonna look like the Samsung. It's not. It's gonna be a lot better than the Galaxy. Okay. Just saying. So compare it. It's between the LG G6 and the LG V30. It's right in the middle. It doesn't have a slight edge display, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay. All right. Tap to wake, like most Motorola phones, is gonna have tap to wake feature. Double tap to wake because there's not gonna be a home button. The only way other way you can wake it up is by clicking the power button. But Apple's trying to make it a lot simpler to use. So, alright, tap to wake, double tap to wake, virtual home button. Like on basically 90% of all Android phones now, it's a virtual home button. It's gonna be a little bit different than Android There's been some recent rumors that it's gonna have a little line on the bottom. I don't like that. They should keep it, but a lot of people comparing it's gonna look a lot like an Android phone. So they might do a line to prevent it from looking a lot like an Android phone. Who knows? We're about to find out soon. OLED screen. So look at Samsung is making the OLED screen, but Apple's trying to work with LG, the the best partner. Well, yeah, one of the most one of the best partners, LG, to make the OLED phones for 2019 iPhones, and they're also working on their own OLED displays. So OLED is gonna improve it. It's gonna help make this. It's gonna help with a cutout. That's why the only reason that Apple's not gonna have a Touch ID inside the screen is because it's OLED. OLED makes it a lot harder to do that. They've been having problems to put 3D touch on there, so they gave up on the idea on Touch ID inside the screen. Okay, of course, the entire screen design, 4mm bezel all around, except the top. Right here is gonna be, I think triple that, 13mm, 12mm. It's gonna be the highest screen to body ratio on any smartphone. It's gonna be 97%, which is huge. Okay, glass front and back, of course. This glass is rumored to be harder than the Gorilla Glass 5, which is on the Samsung Galaxy S8 and the Note 8. So Apple has always been ahead of the competition. Stainless steel design. It may not be titanium like the Essential phone, but stainless steel is very strong, a lot stronger than aluminum. It's gonna make the glass a lot stronger because it's gonna prevent a lot of the damage. Okay, and one last thing, it's gonna have an L-shaped battery, and it's gonna, okay, for speed and software, it's gonna run on iOS 11. If you've been using an iPad on iOS 11, you'll know what that means, because it's gonna look like an iPad mostly, because it doesn't have a home button, and the best way to use, and it's a lot easier to use iPad without a home button than an iPhone. So, and it's gonna run on 120 hertz. So it's basically gonna be like an iPad Pro 10.5 or 12, the new 12.9 inch. Just basically imagine that, and it's gonna be a little bit more powerful than them, and they're already the most powerful iPads on the market.